Yeah, it might be good to have the game.
Hello?
In there.
We live?
Where? Let's see.
Do you want me to go on the other computer and check to see if we can see and everything?
In here.
Anybody hear us? Test.
Well, I don't know. I can't see if there's people in.
Might take a minute for people to arrive.
Yeah.
Or maybe we're just screaming into the void.
Or maybe they need to share it around a little bit first, so everyone else shows up.
All right.
Oh, no wonder I'm not finding it. It's on Kickstarter, on Facebook.
I'm doing it on
It's on
Facebook.
both.
I'm
There should be
doing
a
it.
link from.
We're not seeing anybody message us letting us know this is live. So if you are watching this, please let us know it's working.
I went to the Kickstarter page while I was logged off.
Yeah.
It still says there's 30 seconds before it's live.
Okay, I
So
guess
maybe it will
Is it
only
delayed?
pop live when
Oh,
it's.
yeah. Is there a delay?
there probably is like 30-second
There's a
delay.
Facebook delay. There shouldn't be a.
There always
So
is.
it won't actually go, like, I click live, but it won't go live.
I guess it won't go
The time
live
I
till the
set.
time. Yeah.
That works. Makes a lot of sense.
26 seconds, people.
I got us. I gotta remember how to play this game right.
Yeah.
Freeze up on camera. Maybe it was just your hands.
Are you gonna explain the bonuses?
Yeah,
Read them.
I'm gonna explain everything.
Yay.
So.
I can see you guys.
Oh, okay.
Yay.
Hello. Can anybody hear us? Let us know if you can hear us. See us. I think we're live.
Yep, there it was.
Heard my voice from the other room. We'll give it a few minutes, maybe,
So
to.
there's like no
let people-
delay. Okay.
So on the Facebook one, it shows more.
Okay.
I can check the Facebook one.
That's interesting.
We'll give it a minute or two to before we get started, just to let people join us.
Tell us about.
Hello, everyone. There's apparently 43 people.
Oh, awesome! Wow,
44.
keeps climbing. Thank you for coming to watch us live. We're a bunch of hands here.
Here,
Uh,
brought a sock puppet.
Everybody has their little character. Looks like them. All right. Have we heard from anybody that they can hear us?
If you can hear us, can you please say something in the chat?
The Facebook one is a little delayed.
It is.
Okay.
By 15 seconds.
That's not too bad. Shiny new box. Logo.
Speaking of new box, I really like the new box design.
Yeah, the old one, we were seeing it with some other review copies, and the title just wasn't striking from a distance, so that's why we went for white on black.
Yeah, you can see that. From
Nice,
across.
fancier, nice.
See
nice
that on the
more.
shelf across the store now.
Yeah, well, it's fitting in the aesthetic of the deluxe box. So.
The deluxe box is exciting.
Hearing myself from another room.
I guess that's evidence we have audio now.
Gord, can you turn it off so we don't hear it?
They'll hear that eventually.
15 seconds later.
So nobody's said we're
No,
okay.
we can hear it.
Well, I think
That's what we're doing.
Dive in.
we can dive in. Everything's good. Yeah.
No one likes talking. Can someone say something in the chat?
We don't want to start explaining this game
I know.
without knowing that everybody can hear it. Or maybe we're just not seeing the chat. I don't know.
Oh, I should be seeing the chat. Let's check.
Yeah,
Let's check.
I mean, I guess Gord can tell us.
What do we want to know?
Chat something.
Well, he's the one running it. I don't know if he...
Whoops.
All right.
No one's there.
Well, maybe tell us a little story first about the game itself. I don't know, the creation or thought process
Sure.
behind it.
Yeah, it was an interesting process. I started, I wanted a game that you didn't have cards in your hand. That's kind of where it started. And I quickly I came across this idea of building things with other cards. And then, well, at the time, I was a bit newer to board games in general. So the most obvious theme was building buildings, of course, which I know some people are tired of, but I really like it because it's actually based on the city where my dad was born. So he kind of grew up there. He was pretty young, maybe around 8 years old is when he left. But all these really fascinating stories of him growing up there. So with all those stories in mind, a lot of the artwork was inspired by it. We have little references here or there to those stories. So it became not just this generic city building game to me, but this kind of personal way to tell the story of my dad. So,
Have you ever been?
yeah, I went to Coevorden 10 years ago with my parents. We stayed there in the city proper with a relative for a couple weeks, and then we spent another 2 weeks traveling the entire country, visiting other relatives, my aunt there, and so on. It was really great. If you travel somewhere, staying with locals is way more personal than staying with just a tourist agency. Okay, I think we're gonna get started. Is that
Yeah, may as well. No one's answering me.
okay?
No one likes me.
If you are hearing it, if you have any questions, feel free to jump in. I'm going to explain the game. I'm going to introduce everybody's hands, and and then we'll get started. Okay, so let's go around the table. This is Cindy here.
Hi.
I don't
That's
even
her
know if
hand.
anyone can see me.
So on this side here,
Cool.
then we have Jason.
Hello.
And we have Stephanie over here, Stephanie number 2. The other Stephanie is running the live stream. And then, yes, she's not playing, but she will answer your questions. And then we have Liam over here. He's part of First Fish Games.
Hello.
And I am Eric, the designer. I'm right here. And this is the box. All right. So I'm going to explain the entire game. And they've all played a couple times before, but not, I think, a whole lot. So Liam here has played a bit more, of course. Anyway, so welcome to Town Builder Coevorden. The goal of the game is to score the most points. Points are denoted by a ribbon in the top left corner here of the cards. There's a cost to building a building, which is on the right side of the card. I don't know if we can zoom in or
You might have to lift up the card
lift it
closer.
up. Something.
Nope. Down lower.
Down.
Down.
There.
Okay.
Yep. And then if you
There we
Perfect.
go.
boom.
Ta-da!
So you got points.
Nope.
Nope.
Where's that?
Points. You got a building cost, and cards are multi-use, so you can also use it as the resource at the bottom. In this case, it's wood. There are 3 resources in the game. There's stone, wood, and straw. Gold is not considered a resource, so when a card would say gain a resource from the discard pile, gold is not one of them. When a card has okay, so let's start just explaining the actions. Simplest way to learn is to look at this reference card here. It basically tells you everything you need to know about the game. So the first thing you do on your turn is you refill the card row to 5 cards. So you don't refill during your turn after you take a card. This means that the next player will always have 2 cards to choose from that the other player did not. Then you take 2 actions. Simplest action you can do is to start a foundation, which is to take a card sideways, and you still have to pay its building costs. It's worth no points until you've actually built it. So this back alley here needs a stone. So another type of action you can do, and first of all, I should explain, you can take the same action multiple times. You have 2 actions in a turn. So for example, you can start both these buildings. But another way to use a card is the resource at the bottom. And in this case, this orchard here produces a stone at the bottom. Once the resource cost is built, you turn it upright, and then you discard all the resources you used to build it. That's basically everything you need to know about the game. But I'm going to talk about the other type of resource in the game, which is gold. When, for example, hello?
Don't do it.
Okay, we're good. We're good. Technical difficulties sometimes. We're still new to the whole streaming thing. So the third type of action you can do on your turn is to store gold behind your family crest. And it doesn't matter which side you put your reference card on. You got the fancy crest side or the reference card side if you're new to the game. So once it's behind this reference card, it's considered gold. It doesn't matter if it produces another resource. It can never be that resource. And likewise, if this is on a building that needs the stone, it can never be the gold. Because how gold works is you need to pay that cost up front. So for example, this palace here has a gold cost. So one way to start this would be as your first action of the turn, taking gold and putting it behind your family crest, and then discarding it to start building a palace. The gold cost has already been paid, so now it's just the stone and 2 wood in order to build it. And then I guess the other thing we should probably talk about are the types of abilities. You have, right now there are only three hammer abilities here, but hammers are on the turn you've built it, you can use it once. Anytime during that turn, doesn't have to be right away, but generally that's usually when you want to use it. You have stars. Stars are once per turn. They give you special abilities, but you can't, so if you have multiple of them, you can only use one in a turn. They give you discounts and so on. Everybody starts with the same default one on their card, which is moving between foundations. What that means is if you want to build something faster, like so, you can, for example, shift a resource over to another one. This is really good when you're claiming awards or judges, or well, specifically awards, but I'll cover that in a second. And then the third type of ability is the crown, and the crown is endgame scoring abilities. Usually they give you points, or maybe we'll change the building type of a building. Okay, so that's basically how you play the game, how all the cards work and the abilities. And the nice thing about this game is if you don't know what something does, you can always ask your fellow players because there's no hand of cards. You know, this is why it makes it really approachable for people of all skill levels. Okay, so let's talk about these awards. These awards are first to claim. We have the Elegance Award, which are buildings that do not have abilities, so anything that does not have a text ability. If you build 3 of them, you get to claim this award. And this one here is the Dedicated Builder Award. It is 3 buildings of the same type. In this case, it means color. So when you, on your turn, satisfy one of these requirements, you'll take it. And for that turn, if anybody that has not taken their turn that round can also claim that award, that means turn order doesn't matter. If you do that, you take one of these unused awards. There are 6 other ones with different scoring conditions, but it doesn't matter what they are because you just take it for the backside for 2 points. So these are the 2 that are going to be played in the game. Lastly, I need to explain the judges. These are endgame scoring, and they're also worth 2 points, and they're worth those points if you have the most or tied for the most number of buildings. So ties are friendly. Everybody would get 2. Likewise, you would use unused cards to make scoring easy at the end. There's going to be 3 in the game. There's 1 for each color, and then 1 for buildings without abilities. I'm going to shuffle them up. You don't actually see them right away. Where you place them is a bit different depending on the player count. But in a 4-player game, which is what we're playing here, 1 is face up. In this case, where everybody knows that culture buildings are going to be worth 2 extra points at the end if you have the most. 1 is placed roughly in the middle of the deck, and 1 is placed at the bottom. So you can go and commit heavy to certain colors early, or you can stay flexible and see what the judges are as you play through the game. The game in a 4-player game is going to end when you go through the deck 3 times. I think that's everything. So I'm going to let these players. Oh, one of you has a player crest that says first player on the front.
I do have that.
All right, Jason is the first player here, and you may start.
All right. I think I'm going to start taking the Orchard, since its ability after it's built is reveal 3 cards from the deck to start a foundation and put the other cards back. So that'll give me a bit of a jump ahead. I need wood and wheat for that, so I will take the Pigsty for its resource cost.
And over to
Yep. Yes.
you have a bank and a vineyard that has come up. And I don't have any gold, so although I may be eyeing some of the gold cards, at this stage in the game, I think I'll just take the back alley. And what can I do with it? I'm going to need stone, and I see that there are no stone cards. Oh,
Right there.
so I could take that.
That's built. You're winning.
So you
Yay.
put that underneath it, and then it's built.
And then this is done.
Yeah,
Right.
so you can
Turn
turn
the
that
other way around, though. You no.
This way.
This is how you cheat.
No,
at the
you
game.
built the other card.
So if your first action would take this as a foundation, and it requires stone to be built, so you would take this card as a resource,
Oh, okay.
place it underneath the back alley because it provides stone. Now that that requirement's fulfilled, this would be discarded, and this would now become a building.
Okay, great.
You have now 1 point.
She's winning. Get her.
I think there's a lot of gold going on here, so I think I'm going to take some gold to start with. I'm going to take that bank, but I'm going to use it for its gold cost. Put my family crest there. And then I'm going to use that gold, discard it, and take this in to fulfill its gold cost.
All right.
My turn.
I get 2 new cards. Now, a question just occurred to me as you were explaining, because we can move resources between foundations. So can I take a resource that is not required by my foundation and put it under that foundation
That's a good question.
to save it?
You can't. So if, for example, an ability would give you a resource of a type you can't use, you simply don't get it.
Ah,
So you got to be careful when building something that will give you something. You got to make sure that you have a place to use it.
cool. Makes sense. Thank you.
Mhm.
So I'm going to take this vineyard and use it as money, and then spend that money to buy a palace foundation.
I'll just there we go.
Okay,
All right.
I thought of one question. I don't know if we went over. How does the game actually end?
Okay, yes. When we go through the deck 3 times, we're going to trigger the end of the game. You play out that round and you take one final round. I'll go over that in a bit more detail when we get close to there, but do note that you're going to go through the deck 3 times. That's what you need to know right now.
So it's
Perfect.
still pretty early.
All right, I'm going to take a wheat down there. And then, since there's nothing else here I really want, I'm going to take the theater as a coin. Or later.
Saving it for a rainy day.
Well, for no reason at all, I think I want to collect green. That's kind of the strategy I'm going for. So what I'm going to do is take the coin and use it and wait for the ability to purchase a green
You need a
vineyard.
certain-
So what can I do in the meantime? Let's, for no reason at all, maybe choose this leather orphanage.
All right. It just so happens to have an ability that lets you turn it to green at the end. So,
Nice.
or any other color. It's great for scoring wedges.
So, and the first card I'm going to take is I'm going to take this stable as a resource because it fits really well with my inn. The wood and the hay are an or, not an and, but this gives me flexibility later because I don't have to decide which one of those it is just yet. I'm also going to take the quarry as a foundation because while it's really expensive, the quarry can be really, really useful.
All right.
And that's my turn.
Cool. All right. I'm going to do something really mean right now.
Nobody's that mean in this game.
Well, I know somebody really wanted this game. And I'm not even going to really build it. It's just going to be some money. But I'm going to spend that money.
Oh, so it might come back. the
And it
next
will
time,
shuffle again to buy this merchant
It's not gone
house.
forever.
Because I really like...
Can someone refill
Pretty
that?
Yeah,
building.
sorry.
No, no problem.
I'll refill these this side.
Don't want to wreck the table. No. All right, so I need 1 wood. So I'm going to take that storehouse under there. Now I've completed. And I built an orchard. If I could have that discarded, please. And that gives me 3 cards from the top of the deck. to start a foundation, then put the other ones back.
All right, so these are all revealed. Of course, if it has a gold cost, you're lucky you have gold. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been able to start those cards there.
All right, let me take a quick look here. Score 2 points if my district has 3 or more commerce buildings. Score 2 points if it has 2 or more military buildings, or secretly look at unused judges, and I may add one face up. I'm going to take that one because I want to add more points to the game.
All right, and these go back on top.
You will have to spend your gold to take that one.
Yep. it
Yeah, it's
costs
true.
$1.
Thank you for noticing that. I would have forgotten. And I have one more action.
Yes.
So I will take a stone, and why don't we just immediately complete that?
All right. So these are the 3 judges in the game.
Okay.
Because you're seeing it early, you actually have a heads up of what the other 2 are. So remember, there are 5 colors in the game, and then there's one without abilities.
All
you
right.
may optionally choose to add one now, or you can choose not to. It's
We
your
can all look
choice.
away. You can show them to the camera.
Yeah, why don't you show
Yeah.
them to the camera?
I will show them to the camera. Oh, let's get the angle there. There we go. And I think I will add in military
All
to
right.
the line.
So now there's going to be 4 judges in this game right now. Normally there's 3. That's
So someone asked the question,
Mhm.
or not really a question, but to make sure we note that any uncompleted buildings at the end don't count towards
Yes.
anything.
yes, that's
Correct.
right.
You can
Um,
start as many foundations as you
So it
want, but
has
if they're not
0
built,
points.
You can get very greedy.
Mhm.
Absolutely, I've seen it. You got to know a bit of the pacing of the game, but because of how the game
So
ends.
they're asking for
Oh,
specifically buildings like this. You just have to make sure it's built.
yes,
Ah.
yes. So in this case here, we have the back alleys that's built with, which is worth points. The orphanage is not. The quarry, the inn are not, so they're not counting it unless if the game ended now. Likewise, these don't count, but these count.
And also
These
the
might-
abilities don't count unless they're
Yes,
built, right?
yes. Sorry, they don't. All right, Stephanie.
As I've already stated, I'm interested in green colors for no particular reason at all. So I am going to purchase the first green.
our viewers know if the green judge is in that deck or not.
Yes, and they're
Oh,
watching
that's
your
true.
decisions.
Yeah.
Well, he also, as Jason also knows.
Yeah.
And if I had a good memory, I'd remember what cards I could put down.
But of course, I'm also going to steal up the other green just in case, because I
All right.
have a feeling, going by feeling.
Well, I will say green is social. That's the type of game it is, and it's all about being social. So they score points for having other types of buildings. So now you're motivated to actually grab those other colors.
My first action, I'm going to reach all the way down here and take this treasury so I can start on my quarry. And then I'm going to take the farm as a resource. So I will use the red card as a wood and the hay, and that allows me to finish my inn.
Which has a power.
Now, one question I had in a previous game is that if you built a foundation this turn, does that mean when I take it from the center, or when I turn it
When you
into a
actually build it. So when it's taking a foundation is when you start it, and building a foundation is when you complete it.
Great.
So this one here will give you a straw every time you finish a building, including the inn itself. So this would give you a straw, but unfortunately you can't use the straw. So this activation this turn is wasted. However,
Probably should
it
have
is
planned that better.
it is a star, and that's what you do when you're playing the game. Okay.
Cool. I should probably start on some of my buildings, right?
No, get more foundations.
Don't forget about the awards here. You have 3 buildings without abilities and 3 buildings of the same color. So
Ooh.
Stephanie with 3 green is well on her way.
Quick, walk her out.
Yeah.
Take
And
everything she
Cindy
needs.
has 2. So
But they're
I'm not
nowhere
impressed.
near being built, so
yeah, you need another 6 resource to collectively build both of them.
I know.
Oh, yeah, you went big there.
Yellow is all about the big buildings. You might think it's so powerful that it's the obvious strategy, but not necessarily.
So I'm gonna take this lovely cottage because it's so cute,
Everything in the frame?
and then I will use this well. Yes, I will use this well under the cottage.
All right. So it's
Probably under this.
all right.
A little bit more versatile. No, change my mind.
Too many
Merchant's house.
choices.
Merchant's house.
If you change your mind, you can always move a resource between foundations. That's your starting star
Oh,
ability.
that's true.
We saw another judge. So this came up halfway through the deck, which is commerce. Nobody has commerce buildings. So it's anybody's game. But of course,
the first one came out.
Wow.
All right. So I'm going to be looking for an ability here this time. Discard this building. No, I'm going to take the Sawmill, which makes foundations cost 1 less to build, which is a very strong power. And then I will take a wood from the barracks to start building that.
Move the discard pile above.
So
yes.
if I'm in true competition to try and get that lovely point card, I need to get as much wood and 1 stone as soon as possible. So my first grab is going to be the, whatever this card is, the Watchtower that I'm going to start to use towards 1 of my wood. I'm going to also grab another resource card, this one being the Canal, in order to start my market.
All right. Town Hall and Windmill.
Oh, here comes the blues.
Well, I'm going to have a very dull turn. I'm just going to take both these cards for their stone resource. And I'm going to cut them
He's
underneath
working
my
on that quarry.
It's a lot of work to build it, but discounts are a thing. They save you actions. So this here is the inner moat. There are 2 moats in the game. If you have both, they are both each worth additional 2 points. So if somebody has one, you want them to not have the other one. But
Well, I don't want anyone to have that. So that is going to be hay to build my cottage.
Yeah, just ruin it.
And then this lovely cafe is going to be the wood. And that builds my cottage.
first building.
Woo!
And take an extra action.
So I get to now take an extra action. And I will take. Maybe I should take the last stone. There's 3 more people by the
There'll be
time.
more stone.
What do you need?
You
You
can't
need
stop
wood.
me.
You don't have any wood, anyways. I'll take this hay.
All right.
Immediately cutthroat.
And of course, you always refill to 5 cards.
I wanted couples to put.
And here's the second moat. So that was a close call.
See, that's how you get rid of it.
Well, I just need wood. So I don't want people to have that ability. And since you like green, I'm just going to take it from you. That's a mean thing to do.
So mean.
Put those both into resources.
All right.
Go ahead.
Cemetery and the cheese stand.
Take that rock. He needs it.
Well, we know that I'm going for the points in this case. So the 1 wood is going to build me a lodge.
Uh-huh.
On the it says if I score 2 for the district that has 2 or more military. Well, I have no military, so this doesn't count yet.
Yeah, at the end of the game is when it's checked. And the district refers to the cards in front of you in your tableau.
Okay. And of course, if I use 1 more wood, then I will get my extra points. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. This is the only wood, and it is officially built.
All right. So now you can claim this first award. This is
Oh
dedicated builder award. But so Jason's already had his turn this round, but Liam and Cindy have not. So if they're able to somehow build 3 buildings of the same color, good luck with that.
no. Whoops.
We might have a shot at that.
But
Hey.
Hey, if you're going
You
to
never
score an
know.
award like that just on your own, that's 2 extra points above other people.
A cheap yellow could come up.
So the first thing I'm going to do in my turn is take the library as a foundation.
Woo.
And then the second thing I'm going to do is take this statue and use it as stone. That completes my quarry. And since I completed the quarry this turn, I can use the ability of the inn and take a hay from the discard pile to add to my library. Like so.
All right.
Like you thought about it.
Yeah. I'm not playing
That's
with
a lot
that.
of commerce buildings.
Ooh. I do not have a chance. That's too many wood. Well. I will take this wood to build this lovely building. Woo! Merchant's house. And this lets me gain a money and a resource from a discard pile. Ooh.
Oh, so she actually can complete both those buildings on this turn.
Unfortunately, she needs 3 more resources, so she's only getting
Oh, yeah, no, that's true.
What?
and then one from here. So it was really close.
Ooh,
Very close.
wait, if I'm gaining a resource, can I gain a double resource?
Sure. Yeah.
Cool.
The rules are just try not to take too long at looking through the discard pile.
And I'll take this bank
All
for
right.
money. Okay.
And you still have 1 more action.
I
So
still have 1 more action. Oh no!
So close.
Not enough. That's okay. I will.
Still, no one has taken a blue card yet.
the blues
Well,
are never
watch me.
Watch me. All right.
So there you go. We've got that lovely flower stand.
Oh, thank you so much for not
House.
taking the only wood that was out there at the time. So I'm going to take that house and use the wood to build my sawmill. And now the next foundation I build this turn costs 1 fewer wood, which is great to have.
Same as my quarry, just for a different resource.
Yes. And then I'm going to take this tavern, I think,
All
because
right.
I'm already 1 into my production.
Technically,
You're
yes.
halfway done.
The tavern scores 2 points if you have 2 or more housing buildings built at the end of the game. All right, Stephanie, it's your turn.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, although I've already got the dedicated builder award card, if it was relevant, would I be able to use my buildings in order to get this other award?
Absolutely.
Ah, interesting.
So that's still up for grabs. There's a lot of ability.
Count towards that.
No.
Everyone has ability.
I'm
at the
1/3 of
palace.
the way.
And remind me what it says on that card.
So 3 buildings without abilities.
Oh,
So you have the
So
back
that
half.
value would count as 1 towards that. You'll need 2 more, like the blacksmith or
Yeah.
the cheese stand.
Or the ballroom.
Yeah.
interesting.
Oh, the one. No.
Very
No,
interesting.
it
The ballroom
costs
costs
$3.
$3.
And we're
I'm
almost
surprised no
there.
one's taken the cheese stand yet. That's always everyone's favorite.
Why is
I
that?
don't know why.
I'm
It's a cheese
lactose
stand.
intolerant.
Oh.
I don't want it.
Well, I also see that everybody is using these fantastic abilities, and there are 2 cards that look like they've got immediate abilities to them. So I'm interested in the fishery for what
Mhm.
that ability might offer. Reveal 3 cards from the deck, gain a resource, and put the others back. Sounds
Very
pretty
It's
fun.
a free resource when you built it.
And time to get some resources working for me. I feel that looking around at what other people are needing of, I will take the blacksmith as a resource. And I will place it here.
All right.
You don't need that. We
Go ahead.
No, we're almost at shuffle.
Okay.
That would be the first time through the deck. The second time goes a bit quicker, of course, because everybody has cards out of it, right?
The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the water tower for its resource, and I can't pick it up. Someone's asking me.
This is why you need a playmat, right?
Put that on
That's
there.
true.
And once I've done that, I can use the star ability from the quarry to make it cost 1 stone cheaper, which means it's now built.
This is great. The library is a bit of a sleeper building here because it's also another color at the end of the game. So it's culture and some other color. So if you're thinking about, oh, he's got only 1 housing, he might have actually 2.
Oh, I thought it was or some other
Oh,
color.
it's also that
This one
color.
is this one changes its color. The orphanage, that is, it's a different dedication to the building thematically. Whereas the library just has a patron paying to add a little extra section to it.
I ask, do I need to declare what my color is at the time that I build it?
No, all crowns happen at the end of the game, right before scoring happens.
Excellent.
So, for example, you couldn't have used that to claim the dedicated builder award.
I see.
So with my multicolored building in mind here, I think I'm going to take the foundation of this cheese stand and start working towards that blue judge.
Now, something I want to explain here is the inn would normally give Liam here a straw, but since he used the quarry star ability, he cannot use the inn star ability at the same time. Yes. All right.
Should I just finish my palace?
It's a big building.
I'll leave it
Oh, there's
leave
a
it right to the end.
castle.
Having a castle and a palace is kind of too much.
No.
No.
One for Monday, the other one for Tuesday.
Wait until you see the town castle.
That's for Wednesday.
I do want that castle.
This is where people get greedy and
We're not even there for a shuffle
We're
yet.
fine.
We're fine.
well, there's a manor too. Like, you know.
I know. I'm gonna take this art gallery to. Oh, I could just finish my flower stand right now. Sure, let's do that.
All right. You can actually use that ability right now if you like.
Draw a card from the deck and add it to the card row.
So you still only have one action left. Oh, and there's the town castle.
Done. Good thing I waited.
That could not have happened any more perfectly.
Yay!
This was not planned.
I'm gonna have all
All
of
right.
the big
Yep.
houses.
All right.
Someone take the castle stopper.
Since I can build the manor easier, instead of doing one at a time like I've been doing, I'll take that. And then there's no wood, which is depressing. I'm going to take that ballroom as a money for possibly later.
All right. Go.
Decisions.
Leave the castle.
There are many things that I need when it comes to resources, and there are many resources on the table.
You should take the castle.
Leave
Do
the
it.
castle.
Take the
Should I
castle.
hate castle?
Yes.
If I should hate castle, vote yes in the comments.
Let me bring out my phone.
Leave the castle.
Someone said yes.
Take castle. There we go. That's two people.
If
The people have spoken.
If I get 5 yeses on the comments, then I will take the castle. Okay.
Castle.
But
Although,
in the meantime,
here's the plus thing to leaving the castle. She'll take it as another foundation. She's not going to be able to build all of these. So she'll really
Says
just be
you.
against.
Steph, where are we at for the counts?
Well,
Do you accept multiple votes?
individually too, but they want to keep voting.
Okay, so in the
That's 5
meantime,
votes.
I think that
know
counts.
that I'm going to steal this lovely resource at the end and place it underneath here so that I can take advantage at a later time if I want to use it for which resource. Is that correct, or do I have to
Yeah.
declare now?
That's right.
I do declare now.
Anytime.
No,
you
you
declare-
you declare when you build it.
Okay, so I'll declare when I build it. So I'm thinking about how to utilize that resource.
That's right.
Now, castle taking.
Yes.
Take-
Yes.
It's a yes.
It's a
I
it's a thumbs up.
hate taking the castle and using it as a resource.
Ah.
The audience has spoken.
Magnificent.
Thumbs up. All right. 2 more cards come out. I know that this last card here is the final judge. So we'll
I
get to
really
see
hope
what's
it's
coming up
yellow.
next.
Yeah, you better hope it's yellow.
Now, why did we not show what the judge is on the final? Because it hasn't been
It hasn't been
Flipped
flipped yet.
revealed
Yeah,
yet.
we're gonna shuffle this after the deck is completely empty.
So Liam gets one more turn of not knowing what he should be building.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I'm just flying blind here. So I'll take that. And then I will take the bell tower for its resource. And put it on there. That completes the building.
Mm-hmm.
Discard that. That gets built. I can now use the star ability from my inn to gain a wheat from the discard pile. I'm not going to take that one. I'm going to take one that suits my building better. In that one, because it can actually be a wheat or a wood, which suits my cheese stand.
But of course, it had to have had the straw cost there
Yeah.
to take it in the first place. Okay, predictions.
Yellow.
Green.
Yeah.
I
You should have warned us.
for a reason.
I would have to have remembered what I looked at. That was so long ago.
Process of elimination is really hard.
All right, you can see this deck.
All right, time
This-
to build some of these.
One vote.
Oh, I saw the red and I was like, no way.
2 votes. Well, I feel obligated to take this lovely straw. Sure. Let's do that.
High risk, high reward for those votes.
This way. And then I guess there's only 1 wood, so I should probably take it just in case.
So there's still this Elegance Award here that people are competing for.
Working on it.
I'm working on
Just
it.
take low cost buildings.
I'm too most of the way through two. No, not most. Most is an exaggeration.
All right. Oh, perfect. I needed 2 wood. So I'm going to take both of those wood to put into my manor, using that star ability to make it cost 1 less. And now I have a manor.
He's a third of the way
For
there.
Thursday.
Get him.
I'm not fancy. I just have that manor all the time.
A manor and an orchard.
Mhm.
Semi-respectable.
Let's see. What could I use? Well, I think the easy way is to simply build and build and build. And I think I will do it by taking this bridge and making it into the resource that's necessary to build an orphanage. And I do not have the resource I need to build my next building, so now I have to look to my future. And it states that if I get more military buildings, I could score a little higher at the end of the game, so I'm going to try.
But you need money for that one.
Oh, that's right, I do not, that's right.
You could take
Half money.
that vineyard for money and hope the gatehouse is there next turn, but that's
Well,
unlikely.
This is true, and I
Be
don't think I
positive.
needed that. But there may be something that comes along that I do want for the money. So I think I will take advantage of the money for later.
Saving it for a rainy day.
80 days.
I feel like Jason's forgotten his money.
Nope. I want you to forget my money.
That's my first action. I'm going to take the church as a foundation.
And why did you do that?
I did it because I'm going for the Grey Judge here, and also because I'm going for the Elegance Award. And it fits both.
How many have you got?
Look at him
You have
thinking
one?
ahead.
I have 3, but they're not built yet.
Oh my gosh, you're 4 resources away. I
My
am a
second
lot of
action,
resources away.
I'm going to take the farm as a wheat, which will complete my cheese stand and get me a little closer to that Elegance Award.
Oh man, that's not what I wanted at all. All right.
A lot of judges up for grabs.
Yeah. Let's go with.
But not the good one.
I'm gonna take this and put it here to finish my beautiful palace. And then I will take this lovely stone to work on my town castle.
All right.
Are town castles bigger than palaces?
What's that way?
That one is.
I am going to spend a coin to take the theater. That's my next one to work on.
Are you ever gonna build that?
And then I'm going to take
Or tavern?
1 using that ability to make it cost 1 less. And now I have a tavern.
Now your town's taking shape.
Now people can get drunk.
It's the most important part of a town.
I'll probably hang out in Jason's district.
Got an arm.
Well, it is a social building, right?
Yeah.
That's why it's all about the housing, because you need people to visit the tavern. So all those little things are kind of what I, thought about when I put the abilities on these cards.
So for me, I'm looking around and seeing that the only card here that actually has a star ability is this one. So I might build it or try to attempt to build it. I also know it's super cheap. So I think I might be able to upgrade that.
And
Works in
it's
blue time
commerce,
as well.
and you've already got one. so-
And because I know it's super cheap, I feel that I might be able to create it now, which is what I will do with this courtyard.
Now, my mom's watching at home, and that's her favorite building, so it kind of probably hurt her, you taking that as a resource.
Oh, and again, the courtyard.
Uh,
Refill the card.
Yep.
Here's 5. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to take the trading post. Fingernails. I'll take it as a resource to start at my church. I'm also going to take the tea house as a resource to add to my church.
Tea house.
And now I can use the star ability for my quarry to make it cost 1 stone cheaper, which allows me to finish it and claim the much coveted Elegance Award. Now, because Jason did go first, Cindy has a shot to get it as well, but that might be
Town
challenging
Castle.
enough.
Yeah, a bit impossible now.
You can have a house.
I know.
Well, you need to decide whether you want to focus on awards or judges or just building the synergies in your town. And if you can do everything, that's how you play really, really well.
See, I feel like now I kind of corner the market on the yellow.
Just keep going.
So I was gonna say I feel like I should diversify.
Nah.
Ugh, gross.
You need a house for Thursday.
So
7 yellow at the end.
while it would be hilarious to also have a house, I feel like I should have a stable instead of the house. I can build that right away, but that won't give me 3 without power, would it?
No.
Hmm.
Someone says a stable to keep the horses required to travel between all the houses.
That's true.
So fact. Here we go.
Aw.
Don't have to walk from palace to palace.
People build stories in their town all the time. So I built a pigsty beside a ballroom. Yeah, that was great. Great decisions.
People love animals.
And we'll just finish it right now.
So you can travel fast.
Yeah.
I could have built that for free. I'm very sad.
Well, you can borrow her
You can
horses.
thank whoever that was.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. I am not going to get enough of what I need.
Mhm.
So I'm going to take that for the hay. And then I'm just going to take that fountain for money for maybe later.
Canal is back. And Cindy.
Ah. Well, I think that I need to diversify my town, and I'm going to do so by starting to make a little bit of a military presence. I believe I will start with something that has a star ability. Do not know what this star ability is, but it doesn't matter to me.
It's pretty.
And I do have a star ability that allows me to refill
right.
the card row to 5 cards. So I think I'm going to see if I can hope to get a useful one. And it looks like resources are the only thing on my table. Huh, more military.
All right. That goes great with your lodge there, which needs 2 military buildings to score extra points.
And that was the other reason.
Yes.
Okay. I would love to take that festival, but I don't have any gold, and there's no gold out. So, moving on. I think I am going to take... What am I going to take? Think about this for a second. I'm going to reach all the way down there and take that cemetery if somebody doesn't mind passing it to me. I'll take it as a foundation.
That's the prettiest cemetery ever.
It's lovely. And then I will also take the statue to use as a resource.
Your
Ooh.
quarry and your cemetery is built out of statues.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's the bank. So the bank, I should probably explain, this has an ability that doesn't work like the rest. This one actually costs 4 gold, but for each commerce building you have built, for example, Cindy has 1 built, so it would cost 1 less gold. So now this is 3. Of course, if you have 4 blue buildings built, it's free. You just have to spend an action. So Liam here has 2, so it would cost him, for example, 2 to build.
Unfortunately, my library can only change into a blue building at the end of the
That's
game.
right.
All right. Well, I'll continue to get distracted from building my town castle. And I want to take this money and then spend that money for this beautiful festival. Because it doesn't cost any resource. It's built right away. Yay!
And you can discard it to have 2 gold for that turn.
That's right.
My town seems really fun. We have horses, flower stands, festivals.
I'm still upset that
Doesn't
I
have a
have
cheese stand.
Yes.
no hay. I just need a
It smells
hay.
nice over here.
Culture buildings.
Yeah, I mean, every card has a resource on the bottom, so you can actually look around and see all the straw that's out of the deck that is never going to appear.
That's one.
Well, I'm feeling attacked right now.
I will say
Because
that,
we still have one more shuffle, right?
yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
It's
So
gonna be a
once
small shuffle though.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to do something stupid and take extra money and pray that that comes to pass.
That bank will come back through. Yeah.
And then what do I need to get up on for the points here? There's no gray out. I don't really have any blue. Oh man, this is not great for me right now. Something that costs wood to make. I will take that harbor since I can make it for 1. I guess you now live up here.
So this is the next shuffle. Oh, there's a moat. Other moats here though. So
Probably not going to see both modes.
okay, so this is a smaller deck now. So when this runs out, that will signify the end of the game. Then you play out that round. And then you play one more round, shuffling as required. This is so everybody, there's no surprises of when the game ends, like, oh, that was my last turn. No, I didn't want that. You will know when it's your last turn.
Okay, now I'm now officially fearful of the fact that the game is about to end and feel that I need to build very quickly.
Probably got 3 or so turns left about.
Maybe a bit more. Remember, there's an
Maybe
extra
4.
one.
Yeah, maybe 4.
I am going to take this wood at the very end in
Build
order
a fishery.
to build a fishery, which gives me a ability to reveal 3 cards from the deck, gain a resource, and put the others back.
All right, so you can only grab one of these resources.
I can only grab one of those
Because
resources.
it says resources, you can't take that gold. Or you
No.
could take the stone then.
I could take it a stone. I do need to build things with much wood, so I think I will take the trading post. Can I use it, put it
Yeah.
in direct?
Absolutely. You have to. So if this was all straw and let's say you couldn't use straw, well, then you just put all 3 back.
And I still have 1 action left on this turn. And I feel I will take more resources, again, fearful of the end of game happening way too soon. What can I use?
Well, you can also use your windmill to see one more card.
Oh, yes, I'll do that. For sure, I'll do that. Oh, look at that straw, the one thing that someone else on the table needs. And I can use it as well. So I will.
All right.
Okay, I actually needed that straw like that. That's okay. I can work with this. I am going to take.
I'm so taking that as stone. I'm not doing too perfect. Or yeah.
I'm feeling bullied.
This game can be pretty aggressive. We had this tournament at the Shut Up and Sit Down convention, and this one game it was so cutthroat. They all knew each other, and it was just like, you want that building, you want that resource, I'll take that.
This is why I chose couples to play.
Yeah.
All right. So well, there's a house in case you.
Oh, the house came back.
Oh, and then the bank.
And the bank is back. Wow.
Yeah, this is the 3rd shuffle, right? So.
Right. Well, I really should get building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
No, hey, take from me. That's the best thing you can do for your own building.
Whatever you
We
do,
will-
don't build that town castle.
we will take this for a rock for my town castle.
Remember, take all the rocks from her for next round. So she can't have that
And
7
then
points.
I need another one of these.
Oh,
so
never
that
mind.
could be a rock or wood.
Flexibility.
Yep.
And you also have the fire stand.
Oh. Well, I've already done my 2
Yeah.
actions, so it's okay.
You would have seen the pigsty.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So, is there a hay? There is a hay, so I can make this happen. I'm going to take that house as a hay, put under here to build my theater, and now the next foundation, I buy this turn. Oh, I can't do the other action, though. That's not going to work, because I need to take...
You're 1 action short.
I am
Yeah.
1 action short.
So what you wanted to do is take the fortress with your 3 gold,
Yeah.
and well, actually you don't. Oh, and then this discount here.
Yeah,
So
but I hadn't
close.
built that yet, so...
Yeah.
I know, I was going to buy the bank. Now I do not get to buy the bank.
Nope.
Um...
If only you had this blue building built, eh?
There is one good thing I can do here, though, is if I do take this coin, I force somebody to have to waste a turn to maybe take that, and then they're not getting any points. like you.
Well, there you are.
I think it'd be gone before her turn.
Look at all of those blues that came up. How fascinating is that?
It's only 4 points. I'm kind of throwing a lot into this bucket. But
He's technically got 3 blues right now because of his library.
That's
If
right.
he
Yeah.
wants to win this,
Oh, I-
he-
I'm not gonna win it. I just
Not
want the
you,
building.
him.
This is very true.
I will point out some interesting tidbit here. So the back alley here has this woman who's kind of turning around the corner, and in the butcher's shop, there she is kind of going into the back alley. We tried to do a lot of connections with the artwork. It's a lot of work. Felipe Martins
That's
did
awesome.
on just connect.
That's cool. That's very cool, actually. I love hidden stories inside of games. It's so neat. Follow the Woman is going to be the one that I look for in this game the next time I play it.
Yeah, you'll start seeing recurring characters. We have an image on Board Game Geek as a few.
Did this end?
It is, and I'm wasting time just to decide on how I would like to play out this lovely game. Now, I have 1, 2 commerces and a coin. Does that mean that I have, in theory,
You need
I
one
will
cost.
need
One
more
more
coin.
dollar.
Yeah. And of course, Jason was correct in taking the other coin, which meant you might not be able to build it this turn. And in this case, you didn't see another coin.
I am going to then take advantage
You
of.
should take it as a coin so he can't have it. Because he'll have it for sure.
That's true.
Yeah, force her to have to do it though. She wants it to happen.
Why?
I fear that I will not be able to finish. Therefore, I'm going to take the last resource necessary to build my canal. And do I have a second? I think I have one more.
Yeah, and you can use the windmill to
And I'm
see
gonna,
another one.
yes, to see where else I have abilities here. Now, better to build? Probably better to build. I'm going to take a resource. We know that, where is everybody else's building? You need wheat, but you'll get it.
Wood.
You need wood, and you need, I cannot see it. from
Stone
this
or
side.
Stone or wood.
Okay, so then
Take
I'm
the
gonna take
money.
the school and use the resource for something. I know I'm going to need options in the future.
All right.
So my turn, I'm going to take the bridge as a foundation, my first red building. And using my Quarry Star ability, I can make that 1 cheaper and just build it right away. So this allows me to choose a card in the card row until my next turn. No one may take it. I'm actually going to choose the pigsty.
Oh, wow.
Oh!
I don't care about the bank.
Okay.
I'm going to have that. I have second action now, and I'm just going to
If
take.
Jason wins, it's both of your fault.
I'm not. I finish my cemetery,
Okay, and then
and that's my turn.
yes, no, sorry, you get the
Oh, yes.
cemetery
A
building.
resource from the discard pile. Let's take something that fits with the town hall nicely.
All right, so you can't take that pigsty for a resource or as a building for one
Man,
whole
I
turn.
needed something with coins
Hmm.
because I could have bought the bank if one thing with a coin would have just come up.
Well, you have the flower stand.
Oh, but if I
But then
use
you
that,
can't
I
use that.
couldn't discard it.
yes.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Flower stand would let you see another card, but then you couldn't use the festival to
exactly.
pay the 2 coins for the bank.
Don't worry.
Wow.
Blow the second to last turn you're probably going to have in the game blocking me.
You know, every
You know she'll do it.
every 4
I know.
points that you don't get is 4 points that I don't need to beat you. So
I am.
That's good logic.
She's not paying
I'm just
attention.
saying.
I'm not going for any of those. I'm not getting any bonus points.
Well, I'm gonna take the flower stand to see what else. Let's see one more card.
So this is, I'll just put it up here.
Damn it! For reals? Ah,
This is where having only 1 star turn can sometimes pinch you.
I mean that's not bad because then I deprive him of that as opposed to this, which is more points.
Hmm.
Well, that's true.
Don't finish your town castle. You're right. That's the right call for you right now.
Well, I'm gonna finish my town castle regardless.
So what's going to be happening is on Jason's turn is when the game is going to be triggered at the end. So this is your 3rd last turn. You got 2 more after this.
So that is going to be money. And I'll take this as my last piece to finish my town council.
All right. This is where a glut of resources go back into the deck. And that second mode.
So can I get one more card in the line?
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, actually, it won't trigger the end of the game
Yeah.
right now. Yeah.
Okay, so I will, I think, buy the bank. It'll cost me one less due to my theater. So I'll pay the 3.
Yep.
Bank, and I just get to immediately have that.
That's right.
And then I will take one of the many wood. I guess I'll take that one to put under my harbor, and I do not get to use my ability to build it right away.
That's right, because you use the theater as a star. Okay, so this triggers the end of the game. So we finish out this round. So Stephanie, Liam, and Cindy have a turn in the round left, and then we play one more turn.
So I have 2 turns left.
Everybody has, well, except for Jason has 1 turn. Everybody else has 2. Yeah. All right.
Okay. I feel I need to take this stone in order to get closer to my build. Very close to my build, actually. And
You just need a wood or a wheat.
I see much wood on the table, so I could build that right away, or what could I do? Nothing that I'm going to complete. So therefore, I feel my best use is going to be this resource.
Oh no, now she has the only. She's going to have all of the bonuses.
Because green is awesome.
Except for yellow.
Except yellow.
I was really hoping there was going to be a wheat in that draw.
Yep.
Oh, and that now?
It's available.
But that has changed. The lack of wheat makes me think that maybe I won't take that.
Are money worth anything at the end?
Not unless you have the cellar, which gives you a point for every money you have. So it is a bit of a gamble because a lot of the cards that give you money also cost money. So you're taking away what you could potentially build from.
So the question is there a first player marker? Yes, there is. So on these reference cards on the back, there's one card that says first player. So when you start the game, you shuffle all of them, hand them out, and then whoever has the first player one is the first player.
Which is a nice, easy way to manage that.
So I think I'm going to take the risk and take that pigsty.
Because maybe it'll come out.
Here.
That is risky.
And then I will take one of these that will provide a wood for my town hall. Let's do that one.
Yeah.
Second to last turn. 1 turn left.
All right.
A lot of buildings are built.
So when the game is over, we're gonna do a little bit of Q&A. But I did notice someone said that they couldn't comment if they were using Firefox. So if you have any questions for us, you might have to switch to a different browser if you're using Firefox.
All right.
Most points. I have how many rounds left? 2?
Yeah, this is your second last turn.
Well, I can't really beat the red building. There's no green building challenge.
No, sadly there is not.
There's no way I
Here.
can get the blue buildings.
Ah! Why did it do that?
So red building might be my best choice. Right?
But can you build in a turn?
It's possible.
Well, I could.
If you had like a pigsty out there that you could have taken, that would have been a really good one.
Stop!
There's no
Stop
way.
it.
Or I could just upgrade my festival into a tea house.
That's right.
Can you just quickly click down the bottom corner and hit the speaker icon?
This is hard decision. The 8 house is really expensive for not a lot of points.
It lets you copy anybody's star ability. It's so
Ooh,
powerful,
that
especially in a
is so
4-player game.
powerful.
But it's a bit late now
Too
that
late
you
for
have
that
two
one.
friends.
Yeah. It's difficult. Oh, actually, I would like to see another card, please.
All right.
Oh, red is still the best option, probably. I will take this and then take that, and I can finish next round.
All right.
Okay. I could build that.
So this is your last turn. This is everybody's last turn.
Yes. I think the fountain is going to be the best thing I can build. So I will take the fortress as money, and I will use my theater to make that fountain cost 1 less. And I will just have a fountain and abandon this harbor.
Really?
That's worth 1 more point.
Hmm.
I'm not going to get a chance to.
With only one turn, there's no ability for me to build anything.
Oh.
See what
That's not
people
true.
after you need.
Unless you've got something that will get you more resources somehow. I'm not sure. If you
It's
do.
not a resource. I can simply put more on the table
Yeah.
to look at, but I cannot actually
Need something
take more
like my
resources.
So there is a card here. You have the storehouse that you can go ahead and read it.
Discard the building to build a foundation for free. So if I understand that correctly, I could discard my storehouse
Yes.
and then simply build something for it.
Yeah. Of course, it has to be in your district. So if it has a gold cost, you first have to pay that. But for example, the courtyard, which is the biggest one here, you could build it right away.
Well, the water tower there, we get 3 points. This one's only worth 2, so that would be.
Of course, the downside is the lodge scores for points for military, right?
And the courtyard does get you 1 for every 2 buildings in your district to a max of 5. So the courtyard will get you the most amount of points.
And I think I will take the advice of those that I've been playing with. Thank you so much.
So you take that
Great.
first as your first action to have the foundation.
And does it get discarded?
That's right.
And
Okay.
you discard that to build your.
And then
You still have 1 action left.
so
That's
can I
already
build?
done.
And then I don't think you can do anything for 1 action here.
Take the stone, just make sure no one can have it. 'Cause the only one up. Oh no, there's 2
Well,
of them. You can't block.
As I did that though, I would have gotten
Take the
extra
straw.
points. This will get me extra points in the round, even though I have a 2-pointer for having military, which I would have tied with. So
You have to do the calculations.
yeah, I'm just thinking about.
That's worth 6 points there.
So it is better because I would have gotten extra 2 points for this. I probably would have tied for military
Which
would have been 2 points. So
So-
this is an extra 2 points. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for the math. So one more thing that I can possibly do. Hate taking is pretty much the only thing that's
Absolutely.
possible.
Oh yeah, last
Oh, but you
round,
have nowhere
take-
to put. Oh yeah, I take the
You
one
should
with the
take it
straw.
as a foundation.
Yeah,
I'm like,
Take that
"Come on,
foundation." It just lives as a foundation.
Yeah,
Well, we
just
built.
off to the side. I bet quite heavily on having straws.
I didn't even look.
It is 1
Oh,
straw. Okay,
Oh,
1.
you can only choose 1.
But
Oh no, I don't have to. I've thought about this.
no, you did.
Oh dear.
So I'll take this as a straw, and I'll build that pigsty.
Oh dear.
Now that I've done that, I can use the star ability on here to take a straw from the discard pile. I'll just use the same one and finish my town
Oh my
hall.
god,
Oh.
what a dramatic end. That was so dramatic.
Now I
That's
do
the
have a red ability here that lets me discard up to 3 cards in the row and refill it to 5 cards. Not really that useful at this point in the game,
Get
but
all the
I
stone.
could try to make Cindy's life a bit more difficult.
She does
So
need
I
They're
will
all
get rid of all this stuff
Oh my gosh,
And this-
so rude.
and refill to 5.
Oh my
Eh,
grandma.
Oh. Good try though.
Good try.
All right.
All right.
I do have 1 more action though.
Wow. Excuse you, sir.
All right. Was it?
Oh!
I tried real hard.
Well, after that enlightening,
That was a good effort.
That was really good.
I suppose this is meant to be.
It is.
Should I see an extra card just in case something really cool comes out?
It doesn't hurt.
Let's see an extra card.
Oh, both moats.
Oh, I mean, too little, too late.
Yeah.
So that is gonna be 1.
That's built. And your last action, I don't think it does anything.
Do
So,
something useful in the last action? Probably
Absolutely
not.
not.
all right.
Not even anything for money. This is so sad.
No.
Well, I'll take the inner moat because moats are cool.
All right. That is the end of the game. Now you discard everything you did not build.
Goes
Bye,
my statue.
moats.
Goodbye, Harbor.
And unless you have the cellar, you can discard your money as well.
Bye, money.
Let's try that up here. Make that a bit easier.
All right. So now the scoring of the judges. This thematically, the game is a competition of building the most beautiful district. And so these are the judges that are judging you at the end. And they have certain preferences. So yeah, quite an original name. Yes. Okay, so let's take a look at some obvious ones. I think housing is over here.
Woo!
Because
Housing.
we have the orphanage and the library that can change their types or add a type. So like there's sometimes is important to kind of go in turn order and claim these when they're not immediately obvious. So
We should do that.
we have 4 culture buildings. I think nobody else is topping that. So Liam will get the
Most
Hooray.
most
cultured.
culture.
Ugh.
All right. So we have military and commerce.
I have
Oh
2.
no.
So I'm going to choose my library to be a military building.
She can as well. With it.
Yes, I
Yeah.
can.
You can change it to any color you want.
Now, if I do military, then that
We'll
means
all
that
tie
all
for it.
of us would
Yes.
tie, which means we all kind of get a
If you do
All
Very
except
nice.
Jason.
if you do blue, it would mean you and I would
Would
tie.
tie. So I can either tie with all 3 or I can tie with 1.
Mm-hmm.
And how does the tying work? Can you explain that?
You just
They're all
share.
friendly.
Yeah.
I'll just give away these extra trophies on the back of the award cards, just so it's easier for counting. So it's your choice.
And we all get the exact same amount.
That's right.
It doesn't dilute.
No.
Yeah.
Then I feel that it would be better to tie on military for all of them because
It's
Sure.
the same amount.
Either way, you're just getting 2
Anyway.
points. So
You get a point. Everybody gets points.
nope,
No,
I certainly do not.
He has not.
I built a garbage town or district. Sorry,
You have
garbage
no
district.
awards.
Well, it's got a fountain and a bank and a theater.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the luxury town.
It's kind of a mixed
Yeah.
bag,
Yeah.
you see.
You said
I believe I have 3.
you have 4. You have
I think
3.
that's
Lou.
enough.
Yes. Okay, so those are all the points. Now let's just simply adding them up. Do we want to do them individually to kind of go over scoring? I think.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you would like, I'll let you take.
Sure, I'll take over and explain some stuff.
Yeah.
So the tavern here is worth 2 additional points if there are 2 more housing. Well, there's the orchard and the manor there. So those will give the 2 extra points. I like grouping them in groups of 10. So this is 2 plus 2 is 4. Here's another 4, and here's another 2 for 10 points. You have a 4 and 2 3s for another 10 points, and then you have 2 and 2 for 24 points.
Not my best game.
all right.
Those awards and judges are really,
Yeah.
really kind of, everybody else had quite a few, right? So that's the key. Sometimes you want to go for those.
It was getting locked in, getting the theater. I'm like, this is the second, halfway through the second shuffle. Should I get the theater and go that way? No, I shouldn't have.
Right. Okay, so this is Stephanie's district here. We have a lodge, lovely lodge here. You have 2 military buildings because the orphanage was dedicated to the general, it seems. They really like the general, the kids, So the lodge is worth 2 additional points. So this is 3 plus 2 is 5. And then let's just, so the market here is worth 2 additional points if you have 2 commerce buildings, but you only have 2, and the orphanage is military. So this is only 2 points here. That's 5, 6, 7.
Wait, 2 or more.
No, this is 3 or more.
That
Sorry.
says
Oh, I
2
see.
Yeah,
points.
score 2.
Yeah, you score 2 points.
Oh,
If you
right.
have
Yeah.
I did not realize.
So commerce, they're cheaper buildings. There are more of them, so that's why the requirement is a bit harder. Okay, so this is 10 points here. The let's see. Here's another 5 points of Fish Feeding the Orphanage. Then plus another 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, let's just substitute that. Okay,
So that's
2. That's a 10 there. Okay, so this courtyard has an end game scoring, which is 1 point for every 2 buildings. So 1, 2, 3, 4 additional points. So this is 6 and 1. So 26. All right.
27?
27. Sorry. I shouldn't be counting, right? All right. So let's move this out of the way. Liam, do you want to do yours or?
Sure. So I have a bunch of judges and awards here. So that's 8 points there. And we'll just throw this in along with it to make a pile of 10.
All right. Let's do this here in the middle, right?
He only got a few awards.
Just a few.
Just
Just
a
a
few.
couple, yeah.
All right.
This town hall is actually worth 5 because it scores 2 extra points if I have culture buildings, and I have plenty of those.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll just add some culture buildings to it to make another 10.
That's right.
And then I think from here it's just adding up the points of these buildings. That's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for another 10.
30.
And one for the bridge.
1.
31. Oh dear. So 31 is number 3. Here we
All
go.
right.
I don't think I got it, but
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. But
okay.
that's town castles are
So I've got
Yeah,
this
that-
beautiful castle, which is 7 points. Next door to my merchant house, that's 9. Cottage makes 10. That's 10 points. I have another palace. This is 5 points. We'll put 2 awards on there for 9. And a festival is 10. And then I only have a barracks, a flower stand, and a stable left. So that is only 25 points.
Boom. Liam wins.
31.
For the dramatic ending, I must say, the way that you seem to fill the entire table.
I tried, but I failed.
What would have happened if you hadn't gotten that lead?
Oh, that would have lost me a lot of points. That would have lost me the town halls. That would have been 5 points right there.
All right.
And it also would have lost me the pigsty. Now, I might have been able to do something else with my actions, but
That's
it
6 points
would have
down.
hurt me a lot.
You'd be at 25 then.
Yeah, maybe I could have got another point or 2, but
All right. Well, that's the game. Hope you enjoyed watching. Thanks for playing, everybody.
All right, we'll leave it open for
Yeah.
about 5 minutes or so. If you have any questions, feel free to write something in the comments, and we'll answer as best we can.
One thing I do like about this is that no matter how many games I've played, most people see, like, I did pretty bad. I didn't get any awards, but because of what I built, I still stayed like relatively close.
hey, you certainly don't need the awards and the judges to win.
At the
Doesn't hurt,
convention,
though.
I think it was like 31 in the game we played was like the lowest that I was at, and then the top was 35.
Mhm.
So it was a very tight game, which is nice that it's hard to get completely blown out unless you're just like, I need more foundations. Just give me lots of them.
Take all the foundation.
Yeah, never build anything.
One of the things that I like is that I'm not a very strategy-based. If you noted my earlier declaration of green being what I was going for. And someone who is very strategy-based, this one here.
Liam.
It's interesting because you can still play the game and basically have a chance at winning it, which is nice.
Yeah, I played this with people of all ages, and it's pretty. The nice thing about it is always it's like really easy to pick up to learn. Like even my relatives who don't play pretty much any modern board games, they'll still have a good time. They might not win because there's skill involved, but as the more you learn this game, you start realizing what buildings are important. For example, if the nobility judge comes up, the back alley is a really good one because if it's combined with social, because it's one of the cheapest social buildings. But I know that because I know all the cards, and that's like the final layer of like once you really master this deck, you can really effectively think about what strategies you're cutting off from other people. But they're still going to have a good time and not know how much you're taking advantage of them.
I think for a new player too, because you're building a town. It's very accessible. So you know that your town has to have more than just houses. It needs
Stables.
Stables and shops and other things that make people want to live there.
And each time you play is going to be different, right?
My favorite one is the merchant's house.
That's
This is
great.
so pretty.
Gets you
if we want to
stuff back.
here, show Cindy's favorite one. I can get a bit closer to the.
And the tea house. I really wanted to build a tea house
Can't get
because
too
it's
close.
my
There we
favorite
go.
picture,
Oh yeah.
There you go.
but
Sit
it
on it.
didn't get into my game, unfortunately.
I got the cheese stand. And I won. Coincidence? I don't think so.
That's how you win. It's the most important card in the game.
Secretly.
No, I was playing at this one convention. This group of friends, they really wanted that tea house, and it became this like story that they told in the game, because they all watched like The Last Airbender and stuff. And there's a tea house, and they just were joking about it. People are denying each other you taking it, and it was just some of those games. You just tell a story just from a very simple card.
We had one guy at Origins. All he did was build one-cost buildings, but he was more building a story than trying to win the game.
Yes. But then when you get a card like the Farm, which scores points for 1-point buildings, then it starts becoming a real story.
It's a
I
real
got very well
strategy.
with that one last time we played.
This maxes out at 4 for a reason. But yeah, in general, like building more buildings will let you compete more for the judges. Where building fewer buildings will let you score some of the bigger scoring abilities and such.
Now, had somebody tied in score, had one of us tied in score, the number of buildings would have been.
Yes, that's the first tiebreaker, or I guess it's the only one. A number of buildings, basically, because building more is generally kind of more of a drawback. That's why I made sure that a lot of the strategies would boost that. For example, the courtyard scoring for having a lot of buildings, or the farm for having a lot of smaller buildings. And plus, you can again hopefully get some of those judges just to yourself. Any questions in the chat?
Well, I answered.
Okay. Yeah, this game has been a long time in development. I actually just played a version that was like 4 years old, 4 years old, and I could see the differences, just like even in the quality of resource at the bottom, where sometimes you were stuck 4 rounds in a row without seeing a stone, and so fine-tuning everything was done through hundreds of playtests, just organically and thematically. Like the farm has straw on the bottom because I think it looks nice with that card, right?
That makes sense.
Yeah, hopefully it makes sense.
Are there any more? So we have the sawmill that gives you extra wood. And
I have the quarry in that game. Which does
is
the same
there a
thing for
straw
stone.
version?
Yeah, it works differently though. So the inn here, this is what the inn started building. So this is as long as you've built something, you can get a straw. So for example, if you have the castle, which requires 2 straw to build, you can slowly start working up toward it, like build something else, get a straw, build something else, get a straw, which is a bit more powerful than, let's say, the sawmill, which can only complete the last resource you need. But at the same time, sometimes it can be challenging to really time those buildings.
If there wasn't a discard pile, would you just not get anything?
Yeah, that's right. So sometimes you want to build it anyway because maybe you really want to claim an award that turn. But
I was definitely having trouble with my inn and with my quarry because they're both star abilities. I'm trying to sync them up and use them at the right times.
See what else I can pull up. Oh, so the statue here. So this is one of those references that anybody else wouldn't understand. But so when my dad was growing up here, he was a little kid. There was this military statue, Van Huys, I believe. It's a park there. And so whenever he walked past this mean-looking military man, he got scared. So on this card here, let's see, there's this little boy looking up at that statue, right? So parents watching from afar. So it's these references that I just wanted to put in there because why not, right? It's like for everybody playing this game, we tried to add these personal narratives by having, like this couple, they're dancing in the ballroom, you see them on the fountain, you see them walking near the gate, and so on. But then there are these little personal stories of just kind of how I connect to the town. Yeah.
So we do have a question.
We do.
How often did you have to try and balance resources of buildings with abilities versus non-abilities and their net gain?
Well, I started with the simple formula of points equal things on side, but then there are like additional costs. Like for example, if it's more difficult to, like this pushes you to acquire 2 military buildings. So I think about that as, oh, this is worth 2 additional points beyond the base level. That's kind of how I balance them. So it's very tight like that. But to answer the question, it was more of an organic process. So literally hundreds of games at different player counts. And because the thing is, you really don't notice, because of all the cards are unique, they don't always come up in the same situation, that you don't know if something's balanced or imbalanced until you do that playtesting. The statue, for example, used to be cheaper, and it became more powerful, so lowered the cost, increased the cost there. So that's one of the more recent changes. This one here lets you start a foundation as long as you haven't had something built. But there is a drawback there because you can't really do long-term planning. You have to just take one at a time and build it, right? So it's like, how do you get to those drawbacks? It's not apparent. It takes many games to just think about, oh, that is a drawback. Hope that answers the question.
Okay, another question is there any plans to expand this to more than 4 players?
I have tried it with 4 players. What I find is the quicker turns really doesn't happen in 5 players. There's less control because there's 2 people that aren't your neighbors. 4-player, as you saw here, plays really well. It feels snappy, but it just kind of drags the game on too long. Tried a few different ideas, but I don't see this being a 5-player game.
Cool. Hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
Just play 2 games.
Just play 2 games.
3 and 2.
So, question: did the gameplay come before the theme?
Well, it came together pretty quickly. I'm a mechanics first designer, so I do start by thinking about multi-use cards. That's where it started, and then the theme came like a couple hours later, and then I started developing. If you don't develop a theme right away, you're just kind of like making more spreadsheet design. So it was like, okay, well, what does a canal cost? Like, what would it do? Or the merchant house, and so it kind of gives you direction if you start with theme like that. But it's more mechanical theme than kind of like a strong theme.
Cool. All right, I think that's probably good. I mean, obviously, we can keep answering your questions on the Kickstarter page or on our Facebook page, but we're going to end this live stream. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next time.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.